Kelvin Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this government is in a bit of a shambles. It's stumbling from scandal to fiasco and back to scandal again. And let me just list a number of these fiascos and botch-ups that they've made. They've botched up the by-election. The by-election in an electorate that they have held for decades and decades and decades. It is slipping through their grasp as we speak. They have absolutely mangled that. They've mangled the roads issue. They've mangled the bridges, the Simon Bridges bridges. They've messed up that announcement. They've messed up housing. What about this one? Anyone remember the cycleway? The cycleway that was going to bring jobs to Northland by the thousands. It was going to stretch from the Bay of Islands across to the Hokianga. 80 kilometres of cycleway. Let me tell you now, Mr. Speaker, if you get on your bike and drive from Opua, you can ride 7 kilometres. Then you have to get off your bike, you have to put it on the back of your truck and drive about 30 kilometres to meet up with the next part of the cycleway. There's no jobs have been created, Mr. Speaker. It's taken 7 years for a 7 kilometre long cycleway. What else have they botched up? They've botched up Tim Gross's job application for the World Trade Organisation. That's part of the scandal that this government has been involved in. And then there's the reason we're having the by-election in the first place. It should never have happened, and I always wondered why it is that most police, ambitious policemen, move from get a job in, say, Kaitaia, then they get promoted, they go to Whangarei, they get promoted again, they go to a bigger station in Auckland, and then maybe they get promoted again and they end up the road here in Wellington. Instead, Mike Sabin started in Whangarei and then his career went in reverse. He went from a big police station down to a small police station, and if that party had done their due diligence, they would have seen that there were some issues with Mr. Sabin. Then there comes the candidate selection, Mr. Speaker. And we've heard over here from Ron Mark. They've gone and selected Hoss Cartwright. Just give the man a Stetson and he looks like his twin brother. But not only does he look like Hoss Cartwright, there's been a bonanza in Northland, Mr. Speaker, a bonanza of bridges, 10 double-lane bridges that we haven't asked for. Look, they'd had a bit more credibility if they'd have just given us 3 bridges. But no, everyone in Northland, they're treating us like we're fools. They say, here's 10 bridges. We're all going, 10 bridges, well, that's fantastic. We're not going to look a gift horse in the mouth, but their own candidate, he can't even name the 10 bridges. He couldn't even name the one that's 100 metres from his own home. It's going to not even take 5 seconds off his trip from his front door across the river to the Taipa Bakery. It's not going to take any time off that. By the end, we were thinking, my gosh, after 1 week, he's announcing a $70 million 10 bridges announcement. Well, this is fantastic. Imagine what he's going to announce after his second week. Maybe an international airport in Te Kao, a stadium in Horeke, a tunnel through the Mangamuka Gorge. Anything was possible with this candidate. We even expected him to announce that the capital's going to be moved back to Northland where it started. But no. What the Northlanders actually want, Mr. Speaker, if they had bothered to ask us, we actually want stability of roads. Now, in the time of this national government, $36 million has been taken from funding for the NZTA road funding. That's 29% of the funding is gone. We actually want stability of State Highway 1. If I get in my car at the start of Northland at Wellsford there and drive for about half an hour, I get to the Mangamuka Gorge. The Mangamuka Gorge on the south side is windy and it's got banks that slip down in adverse weather conditions. On the north side, it's long and straight curves with with passing lanes. We want the south side of the Brynduins fixed, Mr. Speaker. What do they do? What does this government goes and do? It's just started to fix the north side that isn't broke. Then if we're lucky enough to get through over the Brynduins into Whangarei, where the Maramaku, there's a slip there, State Highway 1, you have to now go through a little detour. If you get past that detour, you get to Kauako. If it's raining and storming, Kauako is flooded out. You have to wait for a couple of hours to get over the 3 bridges. If you get over them, you get to Moirua, there's the Turntable Hill, there's another flood going on there. Doesn't matter which road you take up to Kaitaia, whether it's State Highway 1 or 10, there's the Kaio Bridge that gets flooded, there's the Waiho Valley Bridge on State Highway 1 that gets flooded. You know, the Kyo Bridge, if you double lane it, that's great, but it's not going to fix the 500 metres on the north side of that bridge that's flooded. You can get over the bridge in 5 seconds, but that...
Order. The member's time has expired. Matt Ducey.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. That member had 5 minutes to set out